And it's so nice to welcome James Bell from General Motors back onto the program today. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, tomorrow, Earth Day, huge day, obviously. We want to know, we see the hybrid cars, we see the electric vehicles. We hear a lot about that from General Motors. What I found interesting when reading up for this interview, though, was about the landfill-free factories. Can you tell us about your efforts on that front?
Oh, absolutely. And it's actually, as I've been doing some research on this, it's something I've been very proud of, actually, to uncover not only about what General Motors is doing, but also the industry. A good example of that is our Lansing Delta Township plant. This is a facility that produces very popular vehicles for us, our larger SUVs and crossovers, and it's been rated with the Energy Star mark. Now, I don't know about you, but when I go to buy my refrigerator just about 6 months ago, I looked for that mark. I did the same thing when I bought a microwave before that. So it's good to know that the facility is also involved in producing vehicles. Not only the vehicle is efficient, but also the plant that's putting out that vehicle. So between the combination and seeing that Energy Star, I think it's in a very short time, probably due in part thanks to Earth Day.
All right. And how else are you celebrating Earth Day here? Obviously, you've agreed to come on our program, which some would say is enough. But can you talk about your other can you talk about your other efforts, James?
Sure. Well, you know, we're also talking about some vehicles that are on the road today, which, going back to 1970 when Earth Day started, would probably have been very inefficient. A good example of that is the vehicle of my shoulder here, the Chevrolet Malibu. This is a car that really kind of heralds the return of a proper four-door, five-passenger family sedan, but it does it in ways that would be, you know, kind of the realm of compact cars or subcompact cars just a couple years ago. It has a system called e-assist, which is a small four-cylinder engine that when you're cruising down the highway just sips on the gas. The vehicle itself, as you can see, is also very aerodynamic, so it creates very little drag. But then it has what I call an electric turbocharger on top of the motor. Basically, it's a small battery and a small electric motor that when you go to merge on the highway or take off from a stoplight or whatever, it has that torque that we Americans look for in our vehicles, especially vehicles of that nature. So again, it's kind of, if you took that car and moved it back to when Earth Day started in 1970, it would really shake people up because you're looking at 36 miles per gallon with this vehicle.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And I know, let's go to the Chevy Volt for just a second. It's been in the news a few times over the last couple months, not for the best of reasons, between some safety concerns and then the sales numbers not up to par. Just earlier in the week, Ford's CEO made an announcement about the cost of an electric battery, an electric car battery being $12,000 to $15,000. How's the future looking for this part of the industry?
Here's the best way I can explain this. And as an ex-automotive journalist, I've been studying this market and where this has been going to evolve for many, many years, well before I joined General Motors. Basically, we are looking with the Volt or what Ford's doing or the Nissan Leaf, vehicles of this nature. You're looking at the first batter in the first inning of a 9-inning baseball game. 10 years from now, we're going to stand back and look at the Volt and say, ah, yeah, that's where it all started. Or the Nissan Leaf, that's where it began. Because of future fuel economy regulations and emissions regulations coming from the European governments and Chinese government and the U.S. government, electrification is where it's going. It's not going to stop. And so, yes, they are expensive, but again, we are just at the very tipping point into going to this way. So, yeah, well, the Volt is not a vehicle for everybody. The Leaf is not for everybody, but for the right person, it's the right car. And this is where it's all going to start to flow into all transportation going forward.
All right. Well, hey, James Bell, General Motors, we truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking Earth Day and talking about your environmental initiatives.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.